Okay, now, what is this? It's an email that was sent out to anyone who had expressed interest in Obama, right? And this was at the very beginning when Obama was running for president. I sent in my email, indicated my interest, and so I got lots of these emails in reply. What is special about these emails? Asking for money. Now, I haven't given you the whole email. This is the first part of the email, which I didn't give you here. You'll notice 1 through 15. And then you have in 15, will you make an online donation of $25 right now? And then gives you the website. It continues. 16 through 21, make an online donation of $25 now to show you're willing to fight for this. And then you have the website. And then 22 through 29, please make an online donation of $25 now. Wow. 3 times, 1, 2, 3. Just like Obama's speeches, all right? Make an online donation of $25. Now, let's back up a bit. Let's go back to this one, which is in your text here. Let's sort of analyze this. First of all, what do you expect as far as the relation here that's going to be overriding the text? Let's just look at this part here, 16 through 21. Just like we saw in the ZPG letter, what did we say was the overriding goal? Give money. What was the rest of the letter about? Motivation. What is this email? Well, each of these emails, each of these sections, all through this part here, 1 through 14, is motivation to do this. 16 through 21, motivation to do this. 22 through 28, motivation. So you know it's motivation right away. So when we know that this is the case, we've got basically already quite easy to figure out. 21, make an online donation of $25 now to show you're willing to fight for this. Do we see anything else in this part here, in the rest of it, that is going to give us some idea as to how it is structured? If I look at this text, and I'm just looking at it to begin with, before I start sort of trying to piece together what's the schema, what am I going to look for? Well, conjunctions, but, if, those are telling me already, but is likely to be concession. If, condition. By failing to cut into the lead. By, followed by an ing verb, means of doing something. By doing this, means of doing something. And, conjunction again, symmetry there, we expect. Today, by a week from today. Sequence. You see, I'm already getting a very good idea of the whole text just by looking at the use of theme and conjunctions. Doing that, I already have an idea as to what will be the relations that will follow. Make an online donation. If I have an imperative, if you have an imperative, you have motivation. The rest of the text is going to be to motivate you to do whatever the text is asking you to do. Purpose. How do we know its purpose? To show you're willing to fight for this. to infinitive. Typically, it's purpose. Now, I'm not asking you to look up the definitions of the relations right now, but normally that's how you would proceed. You wouldn't just sort of, I know what these relations are, I know the definition, so I have sort of I can sort of know and anticipate what to look for. You are in a different situation. You will need to rely on the definitions in order to be sure that you are getting the right relation. But if I look at to infinitive, that's going to be purpose. Now notice here, but if Senator Clinton wants to continue this, let's show that we're ready. 16 through 19. How is it related to 20? 20 means that the but here is not a conjunction between two clauses. The but is a conjunction between this whole block of clauses and what follows. That's why we need to look at it from the standpoint of rhetorical structure theory. It isn't just what's happening between clauses. It's also what is happening between functionally significant spans of text, as is here, but. Now, what is in this block 16 through 19? What they're saying is, this was when Obama was trying to defeat Hillary Clinton, be the candidate for the Democrat Party. What he was saying, when they go through the beginning stages and they're finding delegates to go to the convention, they go through a process of what are called primaries. That's what is happening in the U.S. right now in anticipation of the next presidential election. The candidates are trying to get enough delegates so that the convention will make them to be the choice, the nominee of their party. What is being said here? Let's go back and take a look. But before we do that, I have this here. If Senator Clinton wants to continue this if joins what? If A and B. So the but here is between this and what preceded it. The if here is within the clause complex itself. The if is the condition between A and B. If Senator Clinton wants to continue this, then 20C and D. Let's show that we're ready. 17 through 19. Okay, let's begin with that block, 16 through 19. 16. The chatter among pundits may have gotten better for a Clinton campaign after last night, but by failing to cut into our lead, the math and their chances of winning got considerably worse. How did it get worse? She, in fact, had won the night before, but she didn't have enough delegates because Obama already had so many. So there was no way that she could cut into their lead. That's their point. The math, their chances of winning got considerably worse. Now, what is 17 through 19 doing? It is elaborating on how did it get worse. That's the elaboration. A and B, C. A, today we still have a lead of more than 150 delegates, and there are only 611 pledged delegates left to win in the upcoming contest. By a week from today, forgive me, 16. It's the but here that we're talking about. The chatter among pundits may have gotten better for Clinton campaign after last night. Conceding. Yes, everyone says she did well. But conceding, yes, that was true, but she has no way to win. Sequence 17, today, by a week from today, sequence. That's clearly seen from the theme. A and B, 17. Today, we still have a lead of more than 150 delegates, and that's clearly, it's joint, all right. Two possibilities. One relation is called joint. Another is called conjunction. You could use either one, all right. 18 and 19 By a week from today, we will complete it in Wyoming, competed in Wyoming and Mississippi. 2 more states and 45 more delegates will be off the table. I just take that as a kind of restatement, all right, of what was said in the previous. Paratactic in both cases. I mentioned this already. By failing to cut into our lead 16B, the math and their chances of winning got considerably worse. Means is a relation, the means to an end. What is the purpose of this section? Again, follow the vertical line. Follow the nucleus, all right? And as you do so, what you come up with is what is the core. Now, what about here? What's the core over here? What's the motivation? What's the main part of why you should give money? Let's show that we're ready. Let's show that we're ready. And that let's is what kind of construction? It is the first person plural imperative. Let's show that we're ready. Make this online donation. And I hope to persuade you of this, that what we are looking at is not just anyhow a kind of interpretation of the text, what Halliday would call an ad hoc interpretation. No, that's not the case here. Because what I've been able to do is I've been able to give you evidence. Evidence in terms of grammar that supports the conclusion that I'm making. What I want you to do is to look at this and say, this is a hypothesis about the meaning, the interpretation of the text. This is my hypothesis. And I have shown how it works. And their evidence for my hypothesis is, as I've illustrated already, in terms of theme, in terms of conjunction, in terms of the two infinitives showing purpose, by, verb ing showing means. The evidence is there. My hypothesis is not just completely subjective. There is a basis for it. Yes, it is a hypothesis. I cannot say for certain what is the purpose of the writer, because I'm not in the writer's mind to know. But I can make a good guess. That's the whole idea of what this rhetorical structure theory analysis is about. All right, the next part of it is here. Now, I want you to just take a moment, focus on 23 through 25. The structure here, the rhetorical structure here, is so obvious. Why is it obvious? We can either take on John McCain with a candidate who's already united Republicans and independents against us, or we can do it with a campaign that's united Americans from all parties around a common purpose. We can debate John McCain about who can clean up Washington by nominating a candidate who's taken more money from the lobbyists than he has. Or we can do it with a campaign that hasn't taken a dime of their money because we've been funded by you. We can present the American people with a candidate who stood shoulder to shoulder with McCain on the worst foreign policy disaster of our generation, or we can nominate someone who opposed the war in Iraq from the beginning and will not support a march to war with Iran. What is the very obvious pattern here? Come on, you have to tell me. You see it, right? Your silence is not that you don't see it. I have to know that you see it. What is it? You're repeating what? We can, right? Well, and it's no, I mean, you know what was the motto for Obama, right? Yes, we can. Remember? All right. Well, here, we can. What is the conjunction? Or. We can, etc., or we can. We can, or we can. We can, or we can. Well, that already you see three, the same thing. Now, what is being compared here? What are the alternatives? What's the alternative? Take the first one. We can either take on John McCain with a candidate who's already united Republicans and independents against us. Who is being described here? I'll tell you, Hillary Clinton. Or we can do it with a campaign that's united Americans from all parties around a common purpose. What is the person who did this against us? It's negative, divisive. What about this side? United, negative. We can debate John McCain about who can clean up Washington by nominating a candidate who's taken more money from lobbyists than he has. Or we can do it with a campaign that hasn't taken a dime of their money. What do you begin to see? Three things are being compared. It's always Hillary Clinton versus Obama. The first, we can, is who? Hillary Clinton. Always a bit or other negative. The third one, she went to war. She voted for war with Iraq. Big mistake. Obama was against it. So we have very obvious pattern here. Now, ask you here, if I just take these 23 and 23B, how would you look at it? How would you lay it out? How would you show it as a graph? Definitely, you would see three sort of 23A and B, 24A through C, and 25A through C. We have comparisons that are being made here, right? 23A and 23B, 24A and B compared with 24C, and 25A compared with 25B and C. (24B), remember what I said. When we look at it in the sense of by nominating a candidate by, with a verb ing, means. 25B and C, conjunction. So far, it looks pretty obvious. But remember what we said, it's not just A or B. Is it? Who are you supposed to be supporting? Well, the B part, right? Which is it that you have positive regard for? Supposedly Obama, the one who has been uniting everybody, who doesn't take money from lobbyists, and who voted against the war. Or that woman who has money from lobbyists, voting for the war, who likes it, getting people against us. So if this is what we are analyzing, and this is our result, I think it's probably not correct. What have we got to do? This is antithesis. What do we have regard for? What is the nucleus? See, it's not just contrast. It's antithesis. What did you have positive regard for? This is where it's important to look at the definitions of the relation. I keep mentioning that. I keep making that point because it isn't just iodic contrast or. No. It's the two sides of that or are not in balance. They are not symmetrical. It's not paratactic. It's hypotactic. One is the nucleus and one is the satellite. All right. Now I'm going to first, before we do this, you have really good. That's bad. Now, this is an off-deck. I will not be asking you to submit it or testing it anywhere. Before you do it, I want to talk about it a bit. Any copies? Any leftovers? And you have them? Okay, can I talk about this a bit before I ask you to what I want you to do? Right? This is exactly what you can expect as far as the final exam, right? In fact, at the beginning of the course, I already had shown you sort of a previous exam, which follows the same pattern. The exam breaks down into two sections. Okay, we have section A. Section A, would you turn the page over and take a look with me? See the attached data tables, the transitivity, logical, and theory analysis. From the systemic functional analysis to the closing statement of the Republican presidential candidates, Mitt Romney, the third debate with U.S. President Obama. Here's the question. How has fit to context likely influenced the patterning you observe in the text? Comment how patterning of choices in terms of lexicogrammatical features contributes to the texture and architecture of this text. Now, I give you the analyses, all right? And I'll do that on the final exam. Another thing I'll tell you about the final exam, it's open book. So you can bring everything you want. Why is that important? Because when I give you a text to analyze, my hope is that as we analyze more text, you become sort of familiar with certain expectations about what to look for. Just like we did the ZPG letter. Then we found we stopped asking for money. And then we did the Obama emails, also asking for money. We saw there were similarities, motivation, use of the imperative, so forth, all right? what have we looked at now? You've looked at with me several kinds of analysis, and we will still be looking at more, all right? That's all should be what you bring with you for the exam. Those analyses, and you bring up, you compare the text that you're looking at here, the text that we have studied, text that we have looked at. So your knowledge about the text is cumulative. It's not just looking at this text and saying for the first time, oh, what am I looking for? What kind of text is this? No, this should be, you will get a text. You will get a text that will draw on the knowledge of what you have analyzed already. Not the same text at all, nothing we will have analyzed before, not that kind of thing. But it will be where you should draw on that knowledge in order to be able to say something about what it's asked you. How has fit to context? What does that mean, fit to context? What is the text that we're looking at? We're looking at a debate between two candidates. This was the Republican candidate, Mitt Romney. This is a debate. In a debate, what is your goal? Your goal as a candidate is to get people to vote for you. Not give you money, but you want them to do something. And why should they do it? You have to give them reasons why you are better than the other candidate, why they should trust you. So that is one thing that you're looking at, the fit to context. What is the context? That when you do the analysis, that should be your first thing. What is the context in which this text takes place? What is the likely purpose? What is the writer's goal? Purpose will definitely be behind the nature of the text that you look at. First, you look at the fit to context. How has fit to context likely influenced the patterning that you observe in the text? What is the patterning? Here, you're taking the data that you have from these tables, a logical theme and transitivity, and you're looking for patterns. That's what you're looking for. You're looking at what is that text, texture. How does it form? What's repeated? How is fit to context likely influence the patterning you observe in the text? Comment on how patterning of choices in terms of lexicogrammatical features contributes to the texture and the architecture. You should be identifying what is the architecture of the text. And how can you do that? Well, that's what we've been doing with rhetorical structure theory. What did I say is the purpose of two candidates for a political office? What is their goal in the debate? To win your heart and mind and make you vote. How does this text do that? So that's what I'd like you to do now. You see, I'd like you to go through the tables. I'd like you to think about how are you going to approach it. If this is the exam, you will get a text. You will get these tables, the analysis, and you are to answer the question. Okay? Now, I'd like you to sort of, the best way I think to do this is to get a bit of practice with it. Then I will go through with you, okay, after you've had a chance to work on it. We'll combine you working on it with the break. So feel free at this point, if you want to go out and do what you want to do, for however long you want to do it. And we will be, what I intend to do is at 9:15, or thereabouts, we'll come back and I will talk to you about how I would do it. Okay? So try it.